Hi, my name is Ray. I'm the curator of the Aquarium. We're here behind the scenes in our coral propagation area. And we're here to talk about how we acquire animals for our coral displays. At the Aquarium, we take a very strong effort towards sustainability and conservation. With our corals, we've made a very strong effort to never purchase animals out of the wild. All of our animals have been sustainably sourced through other avenues. Among those are things like surplusing from other aquariums, acquiring animals from hobbyists, and getting them through reproduction in exhibits. Let's explain a little bit more about that and look at some examples. This leather coral here is a great dual example of both captive breeding and donations. So this individual has been used over the years to frag. Fragging is a process where we actually take a coral and we can break off extra arms and pieces and regrow a whole nother one. It effectively becomes a clone of the previous piece. You can see in the lower bits here where there's a few that have naturally fallen off, and it's doing that on its own. It's a natural process that happens in the wild that we take advantage of. Additionally, this was donated to us from Bowling Green State University from their Marine Lab program. And I've got a soft spot for this soft coral because it's actually one of the first pieces of coral I ever personally worked with when I was a student there. The mushroom corals here, these large green discs with the little button in the middle, are a great example of asexual reproduction here in our exhibits. Asexual reproduction is very similar to the fragging method that's used on the previous coral we discussed, but it's done naturally by these guys. Asexual reproduction leads to us having just fields and carpets full of these species of corals. Several of our exhibits at Greater Cleveland Aquarium have them. They're very hardy and very easy to keep. Unfortunately, for a lot of hardier corals and stony corals, they only really use sexual reproduction, which includes massive spawning events out in the wild. These are very difficult to reproduce in captivity. Our Trichophilia geoffroyi, the open brain coral. This was actually a confiscation by Fish and Wildlife officials as an illegal import to the United States. It was given to the Shed Aquarium. They housed this animal for a while, and then it was eventually released by federal officials to be handed out to other aquariums. We were lucky enough to get a few of the specimens for our collection. These candy cane corals are a great example of donations from the public. We often get calls from hobbyists and fish enthusiasts who have animals at home that they're looking to rehome to us at the aquarium. If appropriate, and we can actually use them in our exhibits, we will consider these donations occasionally. These were one of them. These corals here are called frog spawn. They're a great example of how we get corals from other zoos and aquariums. These animals were previously housed at the Akron Zoo just down the road. Zoos and aquariums often trade animals back and forth for surplus when we've had additional animal births and we want to share and help out each other in the community. We often joke that this is called building your aquarium karma, and it helps out the neighbors.